clashes that got very physical, that looked very aggressive, where they were, if they crossed this line, they were pulled down and they were detained. That we saw temporary handcuffs placed on them and they were removed. It's unclear exactly if all of those people are going to be arrested and charged, but we do know they were temporarily detained and removed from where we are right now. What we're seeing now is much more reminiscent of what this looked like about an hour ago, albeit a much larger crowd. But things were relatively quiet and stable. There were people singing, locked arms, just like you're seeing, and there were signs. That is what this was for a large portion of this event, outside of the 30 minutes to an hour that you saw of that clash. We're going to be here. Law enforcement has told us they're going to still be here. We saw a tick up in the number of police officers that were here. You can expect to see that remain as long as these protesters are here. Of course, all this comes amid the backdrop of that ruling we've been talking about, where we could see 13 people that were detained in Chicago as part of this immigration operation released today, and then several more hundred released next Friday. That is something that has amped up this crowd, according to several of them, at least what they've told me, Anna.
So, Namdi, it is good to see things have calmed down there. I mean, how did they get it to calm down, I wonder? And do you have any sense on how many people were arrested in these clashes? And thirdly, I guess, were these state and local police clashing with these residents, these protesters who showed up there, or were there also federal immigration officials involved in any of this?
Sure. So I can tell you, all we've seen so far are really state police and local police. We haven't seen federal personnel, at least based off of their uniforms and their labeling. We haven't seen federal personnel here. As far as how they restored the calm you see now, it was very much so by force, which you saw. It was, they took out agitators, got them on the ground and arrested them, and that sent a message to the protesters. You know, we don't know if things may heat up once again, but we do know that they've at least created a very hard line of, if you cross these barriers, you will be brought down and you'll be removed. They've even pushed back press to a degree. You know, they're very adamant about restricting the space here and trying to keep things in control. And as far as who exactly we're seeing these clashes with, yeah, it did include several faith-based leaders. Actually, if you still look at this breach, a couple of those, the people you see there at the front of the line, there's a man with the resist hat on, was part of that faith-based group. There is another man, a couple right by him, also who was associated with that faith-based group. So they're on the front lines here. They've been involved in these clashes, though the protest at this point has grown far beyond